The Battle of Bull Run was one of the first Civil War battles and introduced some new commanders. For the Union, McDowell and Patterson; the Confederacy, Beauregard and Johnston. Before this battle, the Confederates just took Fort Sumter. They thought that this would be an easy victory, but it wasn't. Instead, these two generals, not being experienced, literally just stood their men in a line and fired. This way, loads of casualties were lost on both sides. However, Colonel Jackson got the nickname Stonewall as he held Henry House Hill like a stone wall, hence the name. Reinforcements came and the Confederates took the battle because defense is the best offense. The Monitor and Merrimac was another battle, one of the first naval battles of its kind, but only the two tin cans shooting at each other is remembered. This battle ended in a draw. However, day one of the battles pushed the 5 Union warships to practically kindling wood. The USS Merrimac, now renamed as the CSS Virginia after capture, targeted the Cumberland. The Virginia started firing on the Cumberland when they got into range, finishing it off with a ram, which sank the Cumberland and almost risked the CSS Virginia itself. The Congress saw what happened with the Cumberland and tried to go into shallow water to escape the Virginia, but instead ran aground and put up the white flag. But when Union battery fired on the Virginia, it was finished off with red-hot cannonballs. The Minnesota was left for the next day, as shallow waters protected the USS Minnesota, as it would hinder the chance for the Virginia to get it. This concluded day one. Day two was the tin cans shooting at each other. This wasn't nearly as exciting, but it instead revolutionized modern warfare. The Monitor had a swivel 360-degree cannon, and both ships were decked out in iron armors. This match was a tie with the Virginia in retreat, because neither could deal any damage to the other. The Monitor was incapable of doing so, and the Merrimac was already in retreat because it couldn't take any more hits. The surrender at Appomatix Courthouse was one of the last pieces of the Civil War. The Union surrounded the Confederacy, forcing Lee to surrender. Literally, everything after that was slowly coming to an end. All Confederate troops surrendered. Eventually, in Alaska, leading with the final surrender, everyone goes back home. The Union collects all the Confederate rifles, but allows them to keep the horses and mules to get home. They also give the Confederacy some food, as the Confederate army is basically starving at this point.